Welcome back to the Cage Cast. Today's episode is sponsored by my merch store at gaffer.com/pages/cage. And for the listeners of the podcast, you get a 10% off discount using CAGE10 at checkout. Now, moving on, we have our second guest of the podcast, Sawyer, or It's Undecided. Say hi.
Hi guys, it's Sawyer, aka It's Undecided, aka Lil Dick. I can keep going. I got more names. AKA Bebop.
AKA Floorboard Water Bottle.
AKA Mr. Untouchable.
What do you do? Tell the people what your streams are like.
I stream. So I'm a variety streamer. I do a lot of just hanging out. I have a very tight-knit community. We're all very close. If you know Cage's community, you probably know that, considering he's a part of mine as well. Like I said, we're all very close. We try to, just hang out, keep each other, make each other's days better, make each other laugh. We're always obviously accepting new people. I do a lot of variety streams, a lot of Minecraft. I have a Minecraft server we all play on. I do a lot of, I'm loving Fall Guys right now. I like FPSs. I'm really good at them. Wish I could play them, but my computer's too crappy. So we'll see. Hopefully I can get a new one soon.
Weirdly good at FPS.
Yeah, it's bad. Probably because I just sweated all throughout middle school on FPSs, but it's fine. But I do a lot of. I mainly just focus my channel around positivity and just trying to make the world a little bit of a better place.
While we're here, while we're on the topic of Twitch, what are your thoughts on Twitch right now and how everything's been going?
Honestly, I'll be straight up. Fuck Twitch. They've banned me like twice for no type of. I mean, the first one, whatever. Maybe I was taking shots for money. That's fine. Maybe I finished 3 bottles of whiskey on stream. It's whatever. I was feeling good. Okay, it was a great time. And then next thing I know, I wake up and I'm banned for a day. I said, "What the fuck, Twitch?" They said self-harm. I said, "Okay, fine. I guess that's fair."
I mean, yeah.
It made sense. The second time though, I just got mass reported because some guy got mad at me over a girl that was streaming with me or something. And I messaged Twitch. I was like, "Twitch, this is obviously fake." I was like, "I didn't do anything," and they just didn't respond, and I was banned for like 2 weeks, and that sucked because I was averaging like 70 viewers back then, and the next thing you know, they banned me, and I just dropped. I was like, "Fuck!" And just been trying to rebound ever since, but I think it's got potential. I think they're trying to make it better. It's obviously hard when you have such a diverse platform with such a diverse base of people watching. I mean, so many people stream and so many people watch. That's trying to please everyone is so hard, and. There's some people that say the platform's great. There's some people that say they hate the platform, but they don't have a choice because, in all honesty, Twitch is like a fucking monopoly. But I think there's a chance it can get better. I think with hard work and enough care and time, it can get a lot better than it is. I think there's a lot of potential here.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. It's Undecided is your second channel, correct?
My second channel?
No, it didn't. Maybe it's been a while since I've heard this story, but didn't you have a channel that was, like you said, averaging 70 viewers, and then it got taken from you, so you had to make...
That's this channel. Same channel.
Oh, it's the same channel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, people just didn't come back after 2 weeks. Yeah. I streamed on Discord that whole time on the 2 weeks. I streamed on, D-Live. I was just on D-Live breaking all the TOS rules, literally, just for shits and giggles. Streamed on Mixer. I was streaming on everything. Almost streamed on Chatterbait because it would have been funny, but mainly just on Discord. And the people that are still in my community to today are the ones that stuck around the whole time. But a lot of people did leave, and I think it really woke me up about the platform and about how people will switch up on you so quick. And it's...
What was it like going from kind of working backwards in a way where you were averaging 70 viewers close to partner, and now it just dropped to essentially starting from scratch at some points?
Oh my, I'll tell you what, so I got affiliate in a week. The second week I had 50 subscribers. Third week I was at 100 subscribers. Within a month, I think I had like 125 subscribers, and that was like a normal thing for like the next 4 to 5 months. And it was just nothing but up. Every stream I had more viewers, I had more new people in my community. It was just nothing but kept going up and up and up. And then I got banned for that the first time for the one night, which you can take a night off. That's everyone can take a night off. But where I was at with being so new to streaming and not having any friends on the platform, like any real people I could trust on the platform, at the time I had a bunch of not exactly people I would consider friends. on the plat. I have a couple. Adriana and Kenny obviously are still
Mm-hmm.
good friends of mine. But at the time, I had a lot of, I would say, toxic people. Not that I was in a good place either, to be fair.
Yeah.
But it sucked because I experienced nothing but the growth up. And I watched a video, and it's gonna sound stupid, but I watched a video with it was literally Billie Eilish getting an interview done, and I was fried watching this video, and she was talking about how she slowly became famous because like Ocean Eyes and like her big songs, and she
Mm-hmm.
slowly got the rise.
Yeah.
And so she's like how she said how she felt bad for people that didn't get to experience the rise. They only got instant numbers,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what happened to me. Is I literally just shot up to almost averaging partner, doing super well, and even considering going full time very quick, which I'm glad I didn't, obviously. But it sucked because I came back from the ban. I couldn't get maybe more than 3 viewers, which was like my mod Turcanum, who's in every stream I've ever had. Like
Mm-hmm.
maybe I don't even think Cassie was around back then. Like some of my biggest mods and people that are always in my chat, and it was literally just like it sucked. It did because I was so depressed. I was like, fuck this. I was like, I'm never gonna get my numbers back no matter what I do. I was like, I don't know what's right and what's wrong on the platform anymore. I thought I didn't do anything wrong. I'm scared to, because the ban reason was rating. It was rating someone without permission or something like that. And I was like, the only people I've ever rated are people I would consider like friends that I've made on Twitch. So that either meant that one of them went out and reported me for it and said that it was a malicious raid, or that someone mass reported me, which that happened as well because the guy messaged me and told me he did that.
Mm-hmm.
So it sucked for knowing that I didn't do anything and that I've lost all the hard work, because I was streaming back then. I mean, literally 7 days a week, 9 to 12 hours a day. Like that was it. That was my life. That school, work, and then stream for the rest of the time. I barely slept. I mean, and I loved it. It was fun. I did enjoy it. But when I came back from the ban and couldn't get any viewers, it was just it really made me it woke me up on the platform for a couple of months there. I even talked to my community about it, about how I was just so out of it. I didn't look like I enjoyed streaming. My content wasn't there. There was no jokes. It was just me. And it was
Mm-hmm.
basically people stayed around because it was me, and we've built those relationships. And I love them for that. I greatly appreciate it. I tell them all the time. It did suck. It sucked, but
Yeah.
we're growing again. We're getting back.
So, out of having both experiences now kind of in reverse, now that you have more of a polarizing view on Twitch, especially viewer base wise, do you prefer having a smaller, more consistent, loyal fan base now than the exploding, rapid, always there chat that you did have at one point?
I will say, obviously, what was fun about having the bigger chat was being a popular streamer. That was obviously great. I mean, that's what. And let's be honest, everyone on Twitch wants that. I mean, there's some people on Twitch that say they want small communities, but if it's just a hobby and you're just doing it as a hobby for you and your friends, that's understandable. But people like me, anyone I really know on Twitch, other than like some people that might do it as a hobby, everybody, you can say you want to keep it small, but you're like, come on. If you have 50 viewers coming in, you're not going to say, get out, I don't want all these people. No one's going to do that. And obviously the big numbers are fun, but
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have any connection with anyone back then. I had people in my chat that I just talked to. I didn't have anyone that like I really like gave a shit. I mean, it's not like, obviously I was getting more money back then, but that's not because one thing I realized real quick, which fucked with me, is I had you can still see him in my top gifters, and he's still in my chat every now and then. His name's Willie the Goat,
Mm-hmm.
and he was one of the first people. I think him and Turkana were the first people to ever gift me subs, I think. But I mean, he gifted subs in ridiculous amounts. I mean, it was like 25 at a time. It's like every stream he'd be like 25 subs. So I just got so used to getting 25 subs, and then I realized eventually I was like, I even said something to him because I felt bad. I was like, man, like I feel bad not just getting all this money from you, but also because like I know that gifted subs are great, obviously, but it when I was so new to the platform, I didn't comprehend the fact that gifted subs aren't gonna resub. And I was like, oh, I'm getting this money, oh, and then next month when the subs were gone, I went from like that to like that, so I had to come up with new creative ways. Instead of just getting the subs, I had to come up with a way to basically earn the subs, which made me work for it. But now I prefer the way I've done it now, where it's slow but steady. It's you and your community. You're slowly grinding together, making new friends on Twitch. Either through Doc's show, Austin's show, my friend Sarah's show. I mean, meeting you, your podcast, things like that. I mean, I prefer this way. It's much more authentic and real. I don't like the come up quick and try to, because you don't know what you're doing. Like, looking back on how I used to stream, I'm like, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Like, I didn't know how. I was so. I mean, it was worse than it was now, but people liked it because I was making a fool of myself.
One thing I like is, especially when it comes to streaming, is I don't like big chats. Like, I will actively avoid streamers who have over 100 people watching, because the chat for some of the people, chat can be in line and they can be involved in the stream, but for a lot it just devolves into keck W's, emote spams, and inside jokes that if you haven't been there, it's gone.
Yeah, and that's why I don't. I like a nice steady chat where I can talk to the people in chat. If I miss a message or two because chat's active, that's fine. I hope viewers will obviously understand. And I've had chats like that, and I've had chats where it's just spam. I used to do this bit when I did the Olive Garden dates where I was the pit, and then I'd put us both at the Grand Canyon, and I would ask them 3 questions, and then as soon as they answered one wrong, because the questions I asked are just stupid, and I could basically just make the answers up as I went along, I would pretend throw them off and play Tom Petty's Free Fallin'. And as soon as that screen came up, chat was just pit, 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 and it was just pog, 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 pit, to the pit, to the pit, and it was hype as fuck, and the energy was high. But I've realized I liked that kind of chat for a little bit, but like streaming now, I don't even know how I would go about streaming, because I'm such a reactive person with my comedy style and like how I act, and and some people, like the people I used to stream with, used to call it stealing content. They said I would always stealing content because I'd want to play Minecraft with them. They're like, because I had more numbers than them at the time, I was the one stealing content or something, I guess, because I was getting more than them. And I said, if you guys really feel that way, then I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want you to think that's what I'm doing. I was like, I genuinely like building my community larger to be able to branch out to other people. Because I know, I don't want to sound like a narcissist or anything, but I know that I'm good at talking to people. A lot of people, I know I'm good. It's one of my talents to be able to just talk to anyone, make conversation with people, and be able to branch out. I know that I'm not scared to reach out and have people talk shit about me and do stuff. And I know there are some streamers that are, and there's a lot of streamers like yourself, for example, that deserve way more credit than they get. And that's why I was like, okay, I'm going to grind my ass off, so this way I'll be able to share this community. And because people, I don't know, I think there's a lot of streamers that deserve more credit than they get, and I wanted to be able to help them in a way. There was one night I was streaming, I can't remember the guy's name. It was Matham something, I can't remember his last name. I still follow him. I did the Olive Garden thing with him. He said he's been streaming for ever, I think a year at the time. He still didn't get affiliate because he didn't have enough followers. I said, you've been streaming for a year and you haven't even gotten 50 followers and you're still doing it? I was like, that is crazy to me. So I was talking to him, and anyways, I ended up rating him. We ended up getting him almost triple the follows he needed at the time to get affiliate. I mean, he got affiliate, and he reached out to me and he was so thankful. I mean, he was crying. He goes, man, I can't believe it. And I was like, that feels good. I was like, that felt good. And that's when I decided to base my community more off of trying to help other streamers that maybe can't get the exposure they need, because a lot of people just don't understand how to do Twitch. That Twitch is really just about who you know. I mean, it's all about who you know. And some people don't understand that, and they'll just stream and think, if I keep streaming and putting out good content, people will come. And that's the biggest lie in this community I've ever heard. If you put out good content but don't have any subscribers, or followers or anything on Twitch, if you have 0 viewers, how's anyone going to see the good content? Especially with people that are too scared to put their own face on it. And this also, that don't. Go ahead. The people that are too scared to put their own face on it to get their friends. When I first started streaming, most of my viewers were literally my real life friends and family members. All my subscribers were Twitch Primes from my friends in real life or my family members. For a good probably 2 weeks, it was Turk and my friends and family, and that was it.
Yeah, my first 2 months of streaming, I got affiliate in 2 months because there was I didn't play the game right at first, and looking back, I realized where I messed up, but I did know simple math, which is why I got affiliate with the bare minimum requirements, because as soon as I got, because two of the requirements is like it's
three average viewers. You have to stream on
7 different days, and you have to stream
different
for 8 hours, 8 hours total out of 30 days, something like that.
But you're with 50 followers.
Yeah, so the two of them are just scheduling. Just make a simple schedule, and you can hit that no problem.
Yeah.
Followers, that's when you've got to work on.
Watch yourself on your phone. Just pull your phone up and watch yourself on your phone on a different account. That's one viewer right there. You're welcome. Like, one of my viewers the whole time was me on an account called what was it called? Scamwig Bargain. I named myself Scamwig Bargain after Ludwig. And I just, because I'd always just make fun of him in chat all the time. I thought it was the funny, before I started streaming, that's what I thought was the funniest thing ever. It was back when he averaged like 300 viewers, but I would go into like his chat and just fuck with him, and I would just sub and just fuck with him, because that's back when he would read out names, so it was funny as shit. And I'd go into like his and Cutie's chat and just like, I'd be like, Cutie, at Ludwig, thanks for letting me borrow your Lambo, dog. And I would just do dumb shit like that, and I thought it was the funniest thing ever. And then when I started streaming, I was like, I'll just watch myself on this account. That's 1+ viewer right there.
Yeah.
And some people shoot too big, I think, on Twitch, especially when they start out early. They see people that are like they see people that are bigger, and they think that it's like it's easier than it's not easy.
Yeah.
Especially exposure is hard, because you gotta it's finding people that you can either fake it and fake being friends with them and hate it, or you can try finding people that you actually get along with and that aren't going to think you're just clout chasing. And it's hard to not appear like you're clout chasing, even if you're not. Like, because when everyone's just instantly going to assume, if you're going to a bigger streamer, that you just want their viewers. And that's one thing I learned quick with doing the Olive Garden dates that I used to do, was that people will literally just automatically assume that you're just trying to steal their viewers if they even have 5 more viewers than you.
Yeah.
3 to 5 more viewers. So I used to go to, like, if I had 10 viewers, I would go to someone that had 13 or 15, and they'd either go along with it or they would be pissed. And that's how it went. And I was like, if they got pissed, I left.
Yeah.
And then Turk, my mod Turkana, brought up to me, he was like, you need to go to people smaller than you. He goes, good people smaller than you will always just do it, because they'll think that it's like they're getting exposure. Like they'll think that they're getting this exposure, which they technically are. Yeah. And at first, that's how I thought of it. I was like, oh, they think they're getting exposure, when in reality, I'm getting exposure to their smaller community. And that's how I played it for a good month, probably. And that's what I thought for a good month or two. That's how I went about it. And then I was like, that's a bad attitude to have. And I was like, that's a real bad attitude to have. And I thought about it.
Yeah.
And then I realized that's when I switched it to, I changed my attitude to be, I wanted to help people. When I met that Matham guy, like I said, I wanted it to be switched to helping smaller communities.
Yeah. One of those, so back on the point of using your phone to be one viewer, when I hit 50 followers, like one thing when I started learning how to play the Twitch game, it didn't take long to hit 50 followers, because I did one of my biggest streams at the time. It was just titled, because you know how people will do, like, every sub I do this? Subs
every follow?
Money. Every follow. Follows are free. So I said, every follow, I will sing Eye of the Spider. I got 20 follows that stream.
I do. I still do it. I think I have 1,800 followers, and I still do it. I say
every follow, I'll scream your name.
Every follow, I'll scream your name. Every follow, I'll moan your name. Every follow, like my mods, if I want my title changed, they literally say the default, and my default title is every follow, I'll say your name, and someone will see it and think it's funny and just click on it. What people love is every follow, 10 push-ups. They for some reason adore that.
Yeah,
I think every time I do that, I get like at least 30 follows a stream every time I do that. The only part that sucks about that is some people come in, follow, see you do it, and then unfollow. It happens so often that that's the part that sucks when you do stuff like that. But some people might think it's funny and stay around.
Oh, dude, my first Twitch donation ever. It was like as soon as I hit affiliate, my first donation ever was $1. It was from my brother's best friend, who said, if I donate $1, will you hardcore rave dance to Eye of the Spider? I said, if you do it, pussy. He fucking did it. And so if you deep dive into my clips, there's a clip of me just fucking getting it to that song. And
I'm gonna deep dive into your clips and find that, because
dude,
it's gonna be my new gift for subs.
Just keep going.
It's gonna be my new gift for subs.
Do it.
You don't have a say.
Do it.
You don't have a say. Oh, that's funny.
Dude, it's so good. Let's see. Oh yeah, when it came to viewers, I think the last point I want to touch on with getting to affiliate is followers. That's a game. You got to play it to get them. You got to entice them. Blah blah blah. The one that I believe is probably the hardest to get is the average viewer, because people don't know how to do it. And
Yeah.
if you break it to just a simple math thing, like you need more people and a smaller and like a shorter stream, so the ratio goes up. So what I did is I would stream for 1 hour every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'd stream for 1 hour, and I'd have my phone on an alt, my brother, his friends, my mom, my grandma.
Turk's affiliate. So my mod Turkanum is affiliate, and I remember he told me when I started streaming, because I think I had like 17 followers when Turk found me, and I literally was playing Gary's mod, no face cam, scuffed microphone, like a Turtle Beach headset or something, and he was like, "Why are you playing Gary's mod?" I said, "Huh?" And he goes, "No one watches Gary's mod." And I said, "Okay." And he messaged me and he goes, he's a super nice guy. He said, he's taught me everything I know. He somehow knows so much, and it's crazy because he didn't even stream. But he messaged me and he said, he goes, "If you want to do better," he goes, "go to just chatting." And I said, "What?" And he goes, "When you're just starting out as a streamer, get your personality out there and do just chatting at first, because people will then see your personality." And that's when I realized with the Twitch stuff is that if you get people to like your personality, they'll watch you play any game because they want to watch you. And that's when I realized with bigger streamers, they can play any stupid game they want because people are there for their personality. Yeah, they're there for them. They're not there to watch them be good at the game or there to watch them,
They're not trying to watch Gary's Mod Pro Strats over here.
Yeah, like they're watching it because the guy's funny. People watch like James Ski on Gary's Mod because he does funny fucking bits. He's funny.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's what Turk made me realize. I was like, yeah, no one's gonna watch. No one's gonna click on my 2-viewer have an ass and Gary's Mod with no face cam, no setup at all, just me streaming the game and nothing else, just talking over it.
Yeah.
And like no one's gonna watch that. And really honestly switching over to just chatting really changed the whole game for me. It made me realize that it's way bigger.
Yeah.
Way bigger.
My top mod, Luke, so when I first got on Twitch, like I made the account the week before my PC was ready so I could stream. So when I was able to stream before then, I got really involved in multiple different communities. Like I got mods in 3 different people's that I'm still mod in. I don't even watch their streams anymore. But I just made myself part of their community. And when they found out, hey, I'm about to, they're like, dude, let me know when you start streaming. I let them know. And I started getting hosts and raid. And I was like, okay, this is sick. About the second week of me streaming, the woman I watched at the time, Maria or Blondie TV on Twitch, she rated me, and one of my buddies from there, his name is Luke, and he showed up, and they're British, so they really like to just roast you and put you down, call you a sausage.
British do the same thing.
He calls me a sausage all the time, and I was like, stop calling me that. And he's like, shut up, you sausage. And I was like, okay, bet. And
what does it even mean?
Bro, I don't know.
I don't understand.
Like, I'm just there. I'll make a joke. He's like, shut up, you sausage.
It's like a British thing?
It's a British thing. I hear it all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Sausage?
Sausage. Spelt like a sausage.
They just call people sausages?
Yeah, just like, what are you doing, you sausage? Which I'm guessing is like, ya ninny. Ya something like that.
Doesn't bollocks mean balls?
Yes.
So,
that high laugh.
One of the only things I can say in Spanish, I know 2 sentences in Spanish. One of them is "por qué no los dos," which means why not both, and I learned that from a taco commercial. And the other thing I can say is "me gusta dos huevos."
Wait, I know the taco commercial you're talking about. That's the little girl.
The little girl. Yeah. Goes, "Por qué no los dos?"
Yeah, and it's the
freaking. I thought that was the funniest shit ever, so I used to just walk around saying it all the time.
It's that taco shell that's flat on the bottom.
Yeah, just the way that she says it just got me weak as fuck.
Por qué no los dos?
The way she looked at the camera, and she held them both up and said, "Por qué no los dos?" And I fucking lost it. So I learned that immediately. I never forgot that after one time of seeing it.
Holy shit.
And then, the other one, I used to do a lot of landscaping work. and these guys I worked with were Mexican, and they didn't really speak that much English. So when I tried to talk to them, they spoke a little bit. So when we were talking, I asked them. I kept telling them it was so fucking hot, and I looked at the one and I said, "Dude, my balls are hot." And he started laughing, and I was like, I'm not lying, dog. It's hot out here. My balls are hot." And he was like, I said, "How do I say that in Spanish?" And he goes, "Oh," he said something about huevos. And I was like, "Huevos, got it." So for the longest time, I thought huevos were balls. So I'd be like, "Hey, suck my huevos," and just fucking with them. Every single time, everyone would laugh at me, and I was like, "Why is everyone laughing at me?" And I never, until my senior year of high school, I thought huevos meant balls until I asked my friend what huevos actually meant, and she was like, "Yeah, that means eggs." And I was like, I said, "That's even funnier." So now I just
suck my eggs.
Now I just think it's even funnier.
Oh, that's fucking great.
Yep, it's my life.
But yeah, like with Turk being around you for so long, I think you can attest that he has seen the lowest and the highest parts of your stream throughout the timeline. Luke, Luke's the only one who's been here since essentially day one. He's seen every version and every garbage fucking stream I've done.
They're the best kind of people to listen to about your stream. I ask him for advice on streaming all the time. Yeah, because he's seen what works, and he knows what works, and like he's told me he's because he watches my streams for so long. I mean, he's there the entire time. I mean, he lives in Singapore, and I think we have like a 12-hour difference. And no matter what time, he literally will message me and say, "Are you going live?" And I'm like, "No, why?" And he goes, "Okay, I'm gonna go to bed then." And like I'm like, "Oh, okay." And he'll be like, "What time are you streaming?" And I'll tell him like 8 p.m. my time, which is like 8 a.m. his time. And he goes, "Okay, I'll be there." And he'll like set an alarm to wake up at 8 a.m. and watch me. I'm like, that's crazy. Yeah. And I think somebody like actually wants to watch me that much, and it blew my mind.
At that point, he's just like a friend. At that point, that's not just that's different.
No, I definitely count Turk. Yeah. I've said it multiple times on my stream live. I've said it in Discord. I've said it ever. Turk, I'll never deny it. Turk's the only reason I'm still streaming. I would not be still streaming if it wasn't for Turk, because I would have just never figured anything out. I would have just gave up. I like video games. I'm really good at video games. I know just like basic computer stuff. I don't know how to do any of that. Like I don't know how to set up a Discord. I didn't know how to work any kind of like setting up my Twitch channel. I don't know how to set up a Minecraft server. I mean, it's Turk's server. I don't own the server. So I mean, and that's what I'm saying. Turk literally sets up if something's wrong, I'll be like, "Hey Turk, can you fix it?" And he's like, "Yeah, I got it." He instantly does it. If we want something out of Discord, he'll do it almost instantly, or he'll do things to make it better on his own.
Bro, he's like on call IT at all times. He's just there.
Yeah, and I would literally not be streaming if it wasn't for Turk, because he makes it so much easier. And and other like viewers like Cassie for the longest time. When Cassie was a viewer, she's a mod now. But like people like that are just always in there, and like they hype me up. Like I was feeling a little low last night, for example, about my stream because I just felt off. Yeah. And
that happens all the time.
I think I figured it out. I probably got a really bad caffeine addiction, and I'm pretty sure when I don't drink a bang, I just get in a bad mood. So, anyways, I ain't drink no bang for the past.
What did I tell you?
Yeah, it's bad. Anyways, for the past 2 days, I haven't drank a bang, so I was just way out of it. And I was in Discord, and one of my viewers, he didn't mean it mean, but he was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I said I was going to bed, but really wasn't. Your stream was just boring me." And I was like, "Damn, that really hit me hard." I was like, "Damn." And I know he didn't mean it in a hurtful way. He just makes comments like that sometimes. Yeah. And if I wasn't so like out of it with my mind state, I would have probably not have taken it as hard as I did. And then I even reached out to Cassie, and I was like, she's like, "Where's the VOD at? I wanted to go watch it." And I said, I just felt bad about it. Like I wasn't proud of the stream. And I was like, if I'm not proud of it, then I get rid of it. Like it's that simple. And that's what she's like. "It was so funny, Sawyer." She goes, "You were a little bit off, but you're always." She goes, "You're allowed to have those nights," and like people like that like make you realize that.
Yeah. You're human. You can have emotion. It's fine.
Yeah, I think a lot of streamers. What was I saying? Fuck, I'm high.
You don't have to be 100% entertaining mode, streamer mode all the time. It's okay to have emotions and show they're real. Be like, look, I'm not gonna lie. Nothing happened. I'm not depressed. I just don't feel right now.
Yeah, I think a lot of streamers also, like people say they're smaller streamers. Like if you only have 2 to 3 viewers, and if you don't know who those people are, keep this in mind. If they're not like actual IRL friends of you, they found you through Twitch and they willingly watch you while you stream, then you should be. I mean, I think that's people aren't grateful enough for that.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me to think that even one person to think that there's a person out there sitting watching you stream, and even if they're sub, that means they're paying for it.
Yeah.
And even if you have one sub and one viewer somehow, like then I feel like people don't appreciate that enough to think that that one viewer is still that's a person that's actually watching you either play video games or just sit there and talk or browse the internet, which is crazy. I don't think people realize enough that even smaller viewerships are still just crazy to think that anyone would want to watch me or you or any streamer play. Like they don't people don't appreciate the small things. Everybody always wants more. I've realized that no matter what your view count is, most people, a lot of people, I shouldn't say everyone, a lot of people will always want more until they can start to, see and realize and respect.
One thing that really hit. Oh, go ahead.
The best way I try to show people that and get them to respect themselves and their stream more is I'm like, how much your view count? They'll be like, oh, I have 3 viewers. I'm like, okay, go to the game you're playing on your stream when you have 3 viewers. Look at how many people have 0. Look at how many people have 1. Look at how many people have 2. I'm like, you have more than them. I'm like, you're just like people think that I have 3 viewers and some big streamer has a couple thousand or a couple hundred or
you need
even
to be
50.
Grateful for what you have, or else everyone's gonna realize that you're just it's. People, chat especially, can tell when you're not genuine about what you're here for.
Oh man, and chat's fucking ruthless.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Twitch chat's one of the most ruthless places in this world.
This is a
and
question.
If you're not prepared for that, it's gonna fuck you up.
That's a fact. They will murder. This is a question I brought up with Bent Up and some other streamer friends. I have a belief, and I've pretty much converted them to believe with me. And no, it's not a religion.
Sounds like a cult.
No.
I'm down for it.
Do you believe...
Get naked.
Do you believe that who you are and how you are as a genuine person, not the streamer you that puts out there, the real you, do you believe that the real you cultivates and creates your chat?
Yes.
Because I
think so. I think
Chat can see through the facade and be like, this is a stream. You're playing a character right now. But I've seen enough streams. I know you. You are different.
And I'd have to say yes, because when I started streaming, I expected my chat to be nothing but Zoomer humor. I expected nothing but like Carson chat, like that kind of stuff. I never expected my majority of viewers to be women and the LGBTQ plus community.
Oh yeah, that's pretty much your entire chat, and I was surprised.
Almost the entire viewership is the LGBTQ plus community and women, and that's what blew my. I never saw that coming. And my good friend Dree, she's been streaming for a while, and her name's Adriana Lee.
Is she the one that held that show, or is that someone else?
She was on the Austin show.
Okay.
She was on Austin Holds It. Yeah, she was on it, but she's a bigger streamer. I mean, she averages enough numbers for partner. For some reason, they won't give it to her. They probably should. She's a great streamer. She's helped me a lot to understand things. And I was talking to her, and I was asking her about it, and she said, Sawyer, before I streamed, she goes, all I watched was just cute guys. I don't care what they're doing. I just watched them because they were cute guys. And she said, and then I found out that he had a boyfriend, and I just stopped watching him. And I was like, that's fair. That's fair. And she made me realize, I was like, oh, okay, so people are watching me because they think I'm attractive in my personality. And she's like, yeah. And that's what basically what Turk was telling me, like with the just chatting. And Turk was like, you need to get a face cam. That's the first thing he told me. He goes, where's your face cam? Go get a face cam.
Dude, face cam changes the game for Twitch. And a lot of small streamers don't get that, where they're like, I want to stay anonymous. No, you don't.
You have to have such a personality to be able to keep your face off.
You have to be oozing in just personality, where everyone just wants to be around you. Like a classic example, H2O Delirious, Cry, freaking. If we're gonna talk Twitch, Lyric, non-face cam streamers, no one knows what they look like, but the personality is there, and everyone just gets drawn to their laugh, their humor, their jokes, how they are. You have to
way they carry themselves. Yeah, and that's what I try to tell people, like with streaming. I'm like, unless your personality is insane and you have great connections, like that you get lucky either with your exposure or find a way to get into communities where you can get exposure. Face cam is so important because it takes it. And a good friend of mine, me and him used to play Rainbow Six together.
Yep.
And he's in some tournament for Escape from Tarkov right now. And he used to stream he streamed, I think, when we played R6. He used to get no viewers. He had no face cam. He played League. He literally had like 0 viewers. He stopped streaming for the longest time, and then he got a face cam, and then he started playing a game that he's good at. Because I'm not gonna lie, he's not funny. He's not like he's super funny. He's probably one of the best FPS players I've seen in like Shroud. I'd say he's up there. He just doesn't go. He's so shy. He doesn't put himself out there enough. And I even told him, like, dude, now that he's pulling, like, he's averaging like 200. I mean, some nights he has like 2,000 viewers.
Oh, that's that guy you were telling me about.
I couldn't stop watching. I was amazed. I saw him shoot from the bottom of my following tab straight up, and I was watching his stream, and I realized it's just because he's cracked at the game. And he put a face cam on, and he's just cracked. And he's so good at the game, it's insane. And I reached out to him. I was like, bro, you need to put yourself out there more because like your gameplay, like your FPS gameplay, you're up there. And some people like to watch people that are good at the game. Yeah. They don't want to watch the personality. They just want to see someone that's good.
Yeah, there's a whole personality. There's a whole part of Twitch that's like that. Like my buddy Bentup. In a conversation, he can be funny, but he's very reserved. Now, the funny parts of him are the few times he does speak out because he doesn't. So, like, he's quiet the entire time, then out of nowhere, he's like, hey, fuck you, buddy. And it's just the funniest thing.
That's how my friend is, too,
But homie's cracked at every game he plays. He's nuts. He's insanely good. And everyone, like, obviously now he has more of a personality, and he's getting out there more, and I'm very proud of him. At the time, he was very gameplay focused, and he's very good. Yeah. So you would watch him to see this guy just be godly, and it's like almost art to see him just run this game. But then you see someone else like me play the same game, and I'm garbage. I'm making jokes, and I'm making fun of everybody in there, and it's different content.
Yeah, and that's what you got to know. You got to know your thing, and then be good at it. If you're good at the game, then be good at the game. Focus it around the fact that, like I said, like my friend's doing, the fact that you're good at the game. He knows he's not the funniest. I mean, like you said, same way with him. He's getting out there more now since he's moved off to college, and he's getting out there. What he told me, I'll never forget. What this man told me, I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to put him on blast. Yeah. I'll never forget. Before he left for college, because he couldn't bring his computer with him. He was so sad he couldn't bring his computer with him. The first thing he told me about college, I said, "What are you most excited for college?" And he said, he looked at me and he said, because we were on Discord together, he said, "I'm really hoping that since I'm moving out of state for college, there'll be more girls who want to cosplay with me." And I said, "That's what you're excited about for college?" Okay. So this is the kind of guy he is. I mean, there's nothing wrong with cosplay, obviously, but most people, when you say you're going to college, is either to learn or to party or to make new friends.
That's not one of the things that pops in your head.
His first main concern was that he wasn't going to have anyone to cosplay with. That he only ever had one girl to cosplay with, and he wanted more to cosplay with. And I was like, bro, all right, man, kill it. I gave him a little bit of crap, but yeah. And anyways, he's not exactly. He's getting out there more now that he's been to college and he's making friends there, like IRL friends. And an issue with it as well is that he was a military kid, so he's moved around a lot. So he's moving around all the time. So he didn't get a tough time to make friends most of the time. So now that he's at college where he can't be moved out of the school, he's making friends. Yeah, he's a super sweet guy, super nice kid, but he's just so fucking good at the game, bro. He's good. I've never seen. I mean, he made a YouTube video on Rust before he even had a Twitch or anything like that. It was he posted the single video of him like explaining Rust strategies about like the gun sprays and like different strats, and it was just him cracked the whole time. People were like, he got like I think damn near 1 million views on this video because it was just him popping off. It was a scuffed microphone, sounded like he was talking down a hallway into like a soda can,
but he was just going in.
I mean, he was just popping off. I mean, it was him versus like an entire Zerg. And for people that don't know what a Zerg is, it's like when people get a shit ton of people on one server, and they just overwhelm you with amounts of people. They don't have any gear on Rust. They just come at you naked with a rock. But there's so many of them. Eventually, you'll have to reload, and they'll just catch up to you. And it was just him popping off because it's most guns at the time were like one tap headshots, and he was just a pop, 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 and he knew the sprays. And I mean, it was just him popping off, and people were like, "This kid's cracked. Who is this kid?" and now he's on Tarkov, just popping off on this tournament that he's in. So great for him.
Obviously, there's guys who are really good at games, but like, I feel like I can't even talk to you about this because we don't have the same. We don't agree on this part. When you stream and you're playing like let's just say Arsenal, okay? When you're streaming Arsenal, or even in Discord while people are watching and playing with you Arsenal, yeah, you're still cracked. You're going in. When I'm playing by myself, Paladins, Arsenal, because I actually think that's just a fun, dumb little fun game. Like, I get into it, and I get top of the leaderboard every match when I'm alone. No one's watching, no stream, no Discord. As soon as I'm playing, as soon as someone's in a call or I'm on stream, I am garbage, and I have to accept that. And I tell everyone, like, look.
Tree falls in the woods. Is anyone there to hear it? Yeah, I bet you're great, Cage.
Dude,
you're probably
I'm telling you, I'm cracked. No, I get upset every time because when I'm alone, I'm like, why couldn't I do this on stream? Why couldn't I do this during that Discord call when I was getting made fun of? But every single time, it's the pressure. It breaks me, and I'm just like, because I know for a fact I don't play well under pressure. So what I do is when I know people are watching or listening, I play into it, and I'm just like, look, I'm trash at the game. I'll fight you in person, bro. Come at me.
I'll fight you in person, bro.
Pull up. I'll smack you up. You think you're good at Roblox? Cool, kid. I don't care. But inside, I'm actually upset because I know off stream I would have killed him. But
you got to 1v1 him, dog. 1v1 Rust. Everyone knows that's the way.
Yep. Oh, so one thing. We had talked about this slightly. You don't really mention it all that much. But you had said at one point, whether it was all or some of the money you make from Twitch, you donate to animal rescues. And I forgot what they're called. It slipped my mind.
Conservations.
Do you want to touch on that?
Yeah, so my whole life kind of just revolves around animals. It's kind of a problem. It's more of an obsession. I adore animals. Every single I just love all living beings. I mean, some people hate bugs. I can't bring myself to hate bugs. If I see a spider, I take it outside. I can't, no matter what it is. I can't.
This girl at my work finds bugs, and she'll just walk up, pick them up, take a picture, and then set them free. And I'm like, "What'd you do?" And she said, "Oh, I found a cool beetle."
Yeah, that's how I am. I mean, people think it's weird, but it's just how it is. I love all. Yeah, I love all animals. Anything living, I love it. I mean, other than people, but yeah, no, I've worked at this wildlife. I worked at this wildlife conservation. I don't technically work there. I'm not on payroll anymore, but they're not going to keep me for my animals. It was on Tiger King. I signed a whole bunch of NDAs, so I can't really talk about it too much, but I raised a whole bunch of animals. I fell in love with them there. I've always had them. I mean, as a child, I had littlest pet shops instead of like. I remember I won this drawing contest where I got $100 gift card at Toys R Us, and I remember I picked up $100 worth of tech decks, and walking out is when I first saw littlest pet shops, and I saw them, and I was like, "What are those?" And my mom was like, "Oh, those are girls' toys," and I was like, "I don't care, I want them." And she was like, "Okay," and then my mom was like, "All right, that's fine." And then I put all my tech decks down and really bought like a whole playhouse for them and like hundreds of these little animals, and they were like, I loved them. I spray painted the playhouse black and made it like I tried to make it masculine. I thought it was a badass. It was so, and I've just always had an obsession with them. So most of my money, even if it's not from Twitch, if it doesn't go towards my food and like taking care of myself, then I would have to say goes towards helping wildlife and animals. I feel the need that they can't speak for themselves, and most animals, all they do is either love or. I feel like almost every animal has love in it, and that that they just some animals can't. They get scared. They're naturally scared of humans. So yes, they might hurt people. Some maybe, but if you just didn't bother them, they love each other. Maybe some animals don't love each other either. It's fine, but they just can't speak for themselves. We are the people that are destroying Mother Earth. If an asteroid doesn't hit us, then if we just stop tearing up the atmosphere, Mother Earth will probably be fine, honestly. I mean, and the animals, they don't do anything other than live. And there's a circle. I'm firm in the circle of life, and that's why I'm not like against eating meat or anything like that. I still eat meat. But I don't know. I just animals are my thing, man.
Yeah.
They get me. I'll tell you what, they get me going. Not like that.
Yeah, not like that. Hold up, easy.
Not like that. They just get me. I just love them. I'm very passionate about wildlife and definitely wildlife conservation.
My buddy who lives down here with me, his name's Pin Freak. He is scuba certified and does a lot of stuff underwater, working with like removing fire coral from coral reefs and working with animals around the reef area. And
That's all.
I started talking to him about sharks because
Mm-hmm.
I love sharks. And
Sweet animal.
there's a whole lot of misconceptions about sharks, that they're actually really sweet and kind. And we were talking, and he said that when he's down there, there's like, if a shark is just straight up swimming towards him, he doesn't get scared because he knows nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah, if you panic, that's when it'll want you.
Yeah, and he said, why would I freak out the shark when he's literally just vibing in the water near me?
Shark don't want to eat you.
Yeah, he said the only time you need to be scared.
They don't even have taste. Yeah, they don't even have taste for people. They like fish.
Yeah, he said the only time you need to be scared of a shark attacking you is when they're doing the signs of like they're circling, they go under, they leave, and then they're swimming toward. That's when you need to get scared. But he like there's so many videos of people just being around sharks and just saying, if like, it's kind of like dogs, like the vibe you give off is the vibe they have. So if you're chill, they're chill.
You bring that point up, and that's a great point for me. With all the animals I've worked with, a lot of people with the new volunteers, so I was on the big cat team. I raised a lot of the tigers, the lions, the wolves, bears. I mean, you name it. These apex predators in their own way. I've raised most of them, and most of them are my little babies. I cuddled them. I loved them, kissed on them. They're my babies. And there's such a connection with predators like that could kill you like at any moment. When I was sitting with them, I'd sit next to them. I was sitting there thinking, this thing could just swipe and it could end me. No one could stop it. I'm like, in one claw, one bite, I'm done. Because big cats, like, they go for the neck because they know where to go for that. After years of hunting, they know naturally the neck is the kill point. So I mean, and there's still things you can't do with animals like that. Like, no matter, I tell people, no matter how long you've had that tiger, if you've raised it from the moment it was born, the moment its mother gave birth to it, you took it, hand raised it for the last 10 years. If you look in its eye while it's eating, it will be pissed. No matter who you are, it'll
like,
come at you.
You need to be calm, but you also need to be smart. Like,
yeah, that's what people said. That's what my job there was, to teach about the animals. And I'm not certified in anything. I don't have any technical schooling with it. I just have a lot of experience. Yeah. I've taught myself a lot of things. And one of the questions was about that. A kid asked me. He said he heard that you're not supposed to stare a cat in the eye, especially a big one. And I was like, I said I can if we're laying together and he's calm. There's a sound called chuffing. It's these little noises
like
they make.
That thing.
Yep. Yeah, and it's the friendly noises between cubs, moms, and the prides. I mean, tigers are solitary animals. It's a big misconception. People assume the tigers hunt in packs because lions do. Tigers spend almost their entire life solitary unless they're mating or protecting their cub.
Yep.
And when a cub leaves its mom, it's probably never going to see its mom again. So that's a big misconception with tigers, is people think that they all hang out together. They don't. Also, tigers love water. People don't know that tigers are obsessed with water.
I've seen a lot of videos of tigers just swimming, just chilling.
I used to give the cubs swimming lessons. It was the best time of my life. There's so many pictures that I want from that place that I can't have. Like, people ask me for pictures of me with the animals, and I'm like, I signed so many NDAs that like I just deleted them, so I wasn't tempted to like share any of the pictures. And people always ask me like about why I don't know how to like have more pictures with the animals. And the one thing, so Tiger King's the best example for this, especially since we were on it and seeing the guy that I worked for on it. It made me really realize how the entire industry on that side is all about, look at me, I have a tiger. Look at me, I have exotic animals.
Bro, especially that one dude who took him to Vegas. Like, that's a bit much.
Yeah, that guy. I've met him a couple times. He's something else. But
now, I know NDAs and such, legally we can't be discussing certain things, but I do want to say you have to be able to say this part. There is a certain monkey featured in the show that you helped raise. Am I right?
My little baby Lorelei, the spider monkey.
If you have seen the show or are going to watch it, Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
if you,
There's like,
we can't say
go on.
who it is, but we can say that there is a monkey who, if you see the show, you'll see it. Sawyer
There's a
raised
spider
it.
monkey. She loves attention, so she loves being held. So that's a big pointer at who it
Hmm.
is. But her name's Lorelai. We rescued her actually. Spider monkeys when they're young require a lot of attention. Someone at the place I work at, she's literally just spider monkeys alone. The babies, they do this thing when they're young. They have to have their tail connected to something at all times, considered
Hmm.
mother. When they're young, they always have their tail wrapped around their mom. As they grow older, they get a little more promiscuous and they'll start going out more, but their tail will still be connected or touching the mom, and she is the mom. So they always want to be around her, and Lorelai never had that. She was taken as a baby. She was put in. We found her in a trailer. She
Hmm.
lived in a trailer park.
Hmm.
The police were called, and we had to come and handle it. She was in a trailer park in a closet, probably 2 foot by 2 foot closet. Now spider monkeys are very big. She's probably up. I'm 6 foot tall, and she's probably up to I'd say my waist when she's standing up straight.
So it's a nearly
Uh,
3 feet ish.
She's yeah, it's 3 to 4. I mean, she's not. She's a big spider monkey. Keep this in mind.
Mm.
She's even big for spider monkeys. But anyway, she was locked in this closet, fed nothing but strawberry milk her entire life. And feeding time is a really big thing for primates as well. It's a pack thing. It's what they do. I mean, they eat together. That's the biggest sign of that complements in the primate world is you'll see them the typical picking bugs off each other and eating them. That's like the biggest thing in the world. So like that's like basically them saying that you are my family, and I would I would do whatever for you. She never had any sort of family, which is I mean it took us I think a year to get her to even like open up and let anyone really handle her
Hmm.
or play with her or feed her or help her with stuff. She still can't. I have to tell all the volunteers she still can't grab her tail ever. She has a certain spot on her tail. With spider monkeys, what you do it's kind of fun. You take your arm, you stick it out straight out, and you say, "Come on!" And you say their names. So the three that we normally show are Lorelai, Django, and Jackson. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the baby's name. I haven't been there in a while. It's the new baby. But Lorelai's she's the big one that's always getting into trouble, and you got to keep them from climbing on the coat hangers and all that, and trying to jump on everything. And you stick your arm and say, "Come on, Lorelai," and what she'll do is she'll wrap her tail around your wrist, and then she'll jump up and grab on with your arm, and you swing her. And you have to let her do that. The other ones you can reach down if they're really doing something. It doesn't hurt them. You can grab their tail to get their attention because their tail is basically just like a fifth limb for them. They use it. They can do like their tail is all muscle. It's crazy.
Yep.
So you can basically grab their tail to get their attention, and if you grab her tail, she doesn't come at your face, but she will stand up on her hind legs, her two back legs, and she will just like literally like Floyd Mayweather box your shins. She will start screeching at the top of your lungs and just start boxing your shins. I mean, just going ham on your shins. And she did it in a show one time because we had this new volunteer that I said get Lorelai because she was climbing on the coat rack,
Hmm.
and he reached out and grabbed her tail. And I said, "Uh-oh." And I hear her start screaming, and she was like, just going, just, and he was like, we were just standing there, and he was like, "What's going on?" And I was like, no one briefed this man, but yeah, that's my baby. That's all the
Now,
animals there are my loves.
now continuing on animals.
Hmm.
Recently, your streams have been focused on a certain special
Hmm.
little prince. A baby rhino has been born in the Cincinnati Zoo, and we are trying to fight for a chance to win the prize, which is naming and meeting the baby rhino.
Hmm. Yes, we have. I put $100 in on my own. We're almost to another entry. Yeah, it's pretty exciting. It's a black rhinoceros. They're very endangered, and the gestation period on rhinos is so long. It's like 16 months, if I'm not mistaken. So it's really hard for them to breed and like successfully, like for it to be successful as well, and hope the baby's healthy and makes it through the birthing process. And the next week after is very critical as well, obviously, but so it's a big thing for this rhino to be born. Especially rhinos are my favorite animal of all time. I've rhinos pachyderms, so rhinos, elephants, and hippos have always been my favorite. Don't know why. They just always have been.
Hmm.
And it's I just got so excited when I see a little baby rhino. I heard they had the baby, and then I remember tweeting at them. Literally, I said, Cincinnati Zoo, let me meet the rhino. I'll do whatever it takes. How much money do you want? And then like a week later, they started this giveaway where for every $100 you got a painting the rhino makes, so they put paint on these little things, and the rhino will like start to they either lick or like stomp on the painting or whatever, and it's adorable. And then they with this prize you also get to meet and name the rhino. And I was like, ooh, I need to win that. Obviously, not just to help, the rhino be fed. And because the zoos, people, they're very misconstrued right now. The zoos are going through a lot. People ask me why I support zoos when I'm so pro animals. I really am pro animal being in the wild, or even if they're going to be in. That's one of the biggest issues I've had in the past with places I worked, was the animals not having enough room to operate. And that room I thought was suitable enough for their lives to have good, healthy lives. And that's what I was like. And that's one of my biggest things is animal mental health, really, because no one ever thinks about animal mental health. We're just now
animals get so depressed if you don't take care of them.
Yeah, and that's a big thing. Like a big thing with tigers, even people. That's something with tigers people don't understand is tigers. Like we had a lion pass away, and like tigers don't give a fuck because most tigers just don't hang out with anybody. Ours hang out because they're raised together. But our lion pride, we had one of our oldest lions, Jaga, pass away, and Jaga, his pride, we assumed it was crazy. I like to watch animal behavior and try to figure stuff out, and I realized that, and even after talking to some lion experts about it, that they don't. Lions don't really, they don't mourn a passing. When someone, it's crazy to think it's like the cultures in the human world where it's less of a sad thing and more of this is the beginning of a new life for them. And I doubt the lions obviously think that. They probably don't think that. It's just less of lions' main concern is basically survival.
Yeah.
And when one passes, okay, the pride's got to, every day things keep moving on. But that's not that they obviously don't feel emotion. They do. And touching on what you said earlier, it's such a good point to bring up, that animals feel your emotions. And I explain to the volunteers all the time, I'm like, if they're like, why can't we go in with the big cats? I'm like, because you won't be able to control your like subconscious emotions. I'm like, if you go in there scared, and this applies to dogs as well. People don't realize dogs.
They can feel.
Yeah. For a good example, when I was trying to help one of my friends with her pit bull that she adopted, she'd walk down the street and it was aggressive towards other dogs and other people. And she asked me why, and I said, how do you feel approaching someone with your dog? She was scared. I'm scared he's going to attack someone. I'm saying, okay, that dog, in his mind, he loves you.
Yep.
He assumes you love him just as much as he loves you, because dogs make you their whole world. And I was like, so he wants to protect you, his mom, more than anything. So when you're scared, he senses you're scared, and he doesn't think, oh, she's scared because she's scared I'm gonna attack someone. He thinks that you're scared because the guy coming towards you is gonna attack you. And I'm like, so he's instantly just going defense mode. That's why he goes crazy. I'm like, if you can learn to control your emotions, then it's a lot better to start training. Like, actually, it's a whole emotion thing. And I tell him, I'm like, no one can go with the tigers because you're going to be fucking terrified.
Yep.
I was like, everyone you can say you can. And animal behavior is crazy with us as well. Humans are when there's a cage in between you, even if it's chicken wire, no matter what the cage is, if there's chicken wire, no matter what it is, if it's between you and a tiger, you're a lot more ballsy. And the moment that's gone, even for me when I first got in with the tigers, it was crazy for me. It was a lot easier because I raised them.
Yep.
But
it's
for new people,
you may think you're about it, but as soon as you're face to face, 2 feet away from a giant 500-pound animal,
with an apex predator, I mean, when you're sitting there looking at it, and to you, it could just end you and not even think twice about it.
Yeah.
And that's why I told some of the volunteers and other workers, I was like, you guys couldn't. I'm like, maybe in the future, if you can learn to control your emotions. But dogs are the same way. We have this little teacup chihuahua down there, and she's like about the size of your hand. Yeah. I mean, she's literally the smallest little dog I've ever seen. And she will try to fight the tigers. She'll go up to the cages and start barking at them and try to mess with them. We have a Great Dane, a rescue Great Dane down there that tries to dig holes to get into the tigers. But in this Great Dane, her name's Tsunami, she loves the tigers. And I was like, all right. It's like, let's see what happens. Because Jaga used to hang out with a dog. Jaga was friends with this dog named Bandit. It was Chief, Jaga, and Bandit, 2 lions and a dog. It was a Saint Bernard. They were best friends. I was like, so I know the cats can get along with dogs, and mine especially because they were raised around dogs.
Yep. So
I said, Tsunami was new, so I thought, all right, Tsunami, let's meet the tiger. So I opened it up. I was going in with Tsunami, and the moment the door opened, she was gone. The moment there was a cage, the cage was gone, and like you could get in
Dog was gone.
with him. The fact that the tiger, because the tiger knows that it could take it in a fight if it came down to it. That's why they don't really care. They knock it, they blow it off. And the dogs just got kind of like little man syndrome, where that's an apex predator that can mess me up. I got to prove my point. But the moment you take the cage away, humans especially are the same way. The emotions change completely. And I try to explain that to people. I'm like, and if you go in there scared, and it can sense that you're scared, I was like, it's gonna think you're scared because you're a new person, and it's gonna sense the fear in the air and think that you're gonna hurt it.
Yep. Now with a lot of animals, I don't really talk about this too much, but I love animals. Are probably one of my favorite things in the world, and I kind of bond with any animal I come in contact with.
I feel like if you're a good person, you're just gonna love all animals as long as you're a good person.
Every time there's like a dog, no matter what, like if like last week, the boss's wife came in just to say hi. She brought her dog. I paid no attention to the boss. I paid all the attention to the dog, where I just got on one knee. I looked in its eyes, and we just kind of like, not talked, but just, I knew, I was just like, look, I'm good. We're okay. And then she was cool. And then the boss lady was just like, she never does that. She growls at everyone. And she's literally letting me give her belly rubs.
Just staying calm.
Yeah.
It's all about being able to keep your emotions calm. And a big thing with people meeting new dogs is, especially bigger dogs, they get scared instantly because they're like, I don't know if this dog's violent. And it's, and everyone says, my dog don't bite, but sometimes it bite. Yeah. And that's the instant people get the assumption of. So they get so terrified of it. And it's like, dogs, I don't think there's a dog out there that doesn't have nothing but love in its heart. The wolves I even work with are the same way. I mean, obviously, if it came down to it, survival is their main instinct. Our instinct is survival. It's just that we've adapted so far that we don't have to be worried about survival anymore. And I shouldn't say that in a first world country. I can say that, but in other countries, obviously, it's not the same case.
I understand what you mean. It wasn't
But for middle class white man that I am in America,
there's not many animals we need to fear. Now, depending on where you live, there's moose, crocodiles, snakes, shit like that. But
dude, just survival in general.
Yeah,
like
that pure instinct of like leaving outside, I could die.
Yeah, someplace. So that's like that's like over in Africa. A big thing is like, what am I gonna eat tonight? The starvation over there. What is it like? A ridiculous amount of their population is like under the age of 15. It's like it's over 50%. I know that, I'm pretty sure. And it's just like kids. It's kids raising kids. And starvation and the problem with getting clean water and on power. They don't even need power, just clean water and food. It's such a problem that like it's still an instinct to survive. Whereas people that grew up in situations, not that I had the greatest childhood, and but the people that grew up in a country like I did, in a first world country where there was programs like child services, no child left behind, that kind of stuff, that there were other people willing to take care of me and help me even though I wasn't their own. Whereas and that's like I said, like with animals, the instinct to survive is just there. And it's just and so even if you've raised it your its entire life, the moment that it feels the need to survive. If you've ever watched Game of Thrones, spoiler alert, it's something that happens in Game of Thrones. His name's Ramsay. I'll never forget that. Sansa kills Ramsay. This guy Ramsay hunts and kills people with these bloodhounds. And one of his ways of torture was not to feed the dogs, and then he would put people in with the dogs. And that was obviously what came after that. But I remember, I'll never forget, Sansa literally didn't feed the dogs for a week and then put him in there, and he's like, my dogs will never hurt me, they're loyal. He's like, they haven't been fed for like a week, and then next thing that happened was they got their meal, and they didn't care that they were loyal to him because the instinct to survive was there. And the same way, if I didn't feed one of my big cats, if I didn't feed any of the big cats for a week, or actually they'd be fine. Cats can go a really long time without a lot of food because it's just how they like. People don't like. I think lions can go for like. Don't quote me on this. I could be wrong. It's been a while since I've studied. 2 to 3 weeks without a meal, if not longer, maybe shorter. I don't know. Ballpark area around there. They can go a while without a meal because it's just in the wild. It's so rare for them to find that meal. With hunting, like they have to do, and feeding the whole pride, obviously.
But a lot of a few things I wanted to touch on with animals is like smaller things. like the way I treat dogs, like I don't know about you, but whenever a dog comes up and it doesn't know me and I want it to trust me, I like physically can feel my heart rate slow and I'm zeroing in and I'm just like I'm gonna focus and calm you down.
Mhm.
And that like obviously it works with a lot of animals, but even works on animals you wouldn't expect it to. Like
Mhm.
my most recent ex, she had a nephew and he had a hamster. And the hamster, there were two hamsters. There was one, her name was Chloe. She was a little fat hamster, the sweetest thing. Would just sit there, like you'd hold her, and she'd just kind of just plop down and just be happy.
Just hang out.
The second one was not happy, was always angry, would bite the fingertips, and I wondered why. And I sat back and I watched for like a weekend. I just watched. Nephew would just walk up and smack the cages and say, "Bad, bad, Norman, bad," because he bit him one time. And I was like, that's why.
See, a big misconception though with rodents and biting. Rodents, a lot of rodents' teeth are very sharp. People ask me all the time if my chinchillas bite me. Chinchillas' teeth are, I think, they're as sharp as a razor, if not sharper, a razor blade. I mean,
I used to have a chinchilla.
Did you?
Yeah, his name was Eddie.
I didn't know that.
My heart broke when I gave. Okay, I know they can't have a lot. Don't attack me. I gave him one raisin. Okay. One raisin.
Yep. There it is.
I'm not gonna lie. I cried because I looked in and he had little thumbs. I was just like, oh, that's so sweet.
They can have like one raisin a week.
I literally gave him one raisin.
I'm impressed you know that.
Huh?
I'm impressed you know that. That's impressive. Most people ask me, like, they'll be like, or they'll come to see the chinchillas, or like they want to see just give them a treat. And I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
Like, I literally, like, they get one treat a week. They cannot have too much sugar.
Yeah.
Their diet is so specific. That's why people are like, well, I'm like, it's not that hard to have chinchillas. Like, yes, they're exotic animals, and they do need, like, there's a lot of things they can't have.
Yeah.
But, like, the way I explain to people, I'm like, just whatever, when you go to the pet store, if it doesn't say chinchilla on it, don't buy it. It was like, that's the easiest way to explain how to take care of a chinchilla.
Yeah.
I was like, literally, almost everything that chinchilla can have will say chinchilla on it somewhere.
Yeah.
Because that's just how they are.
It has to be specific. Are you proud? I actually knew that.
I genuinely am. Yeah.
I at the time I had a cat, a guinea pig, and a chinchilla, and the guinea pig got me in a fuckload of trouble because he was fat, and I hated him so much. His name was Perry. Okay, and this little bastard, we had a ball that we filled with Timothy hay, and a bowl next to it we'd fill with pellets. Okay, it was Friday. We had stuff to do over the weekend, so I had to make sure he was fed. I had to make sure he was stocked. Right, Saturday morning, my mom was like, "You got to make sure you feed the guinea pig." So I went in and I crammed that fucker full. Right, and I was ready. I went and I played video games. 2 hours go by. Cage, I told you to feed the hamster. Not it's a guinea pig, but mom's. And I was like, I did. And she was like, clearly you fucking didn't. I walk up, Timothy hay gone, pellets gone, not even falling on the thing. And I was like, Mom, he ate it. And she said, no, he did. There's no way he ate all that food that quick. So I was like, fuck this guinea pig, and I crammed it full again. 2 hours later, I just went by and I was like, Mom, and she walked in and she was like, what the? And I said, we have a fat guinea pig. Don't you yell at me anymore, okay? I fed him twice today.
That's funny. So,
but with animals and being calm around them, the hamster that bit him, I just like while they were playing and doing their thing for like 2 hours. I watched the show, but I sat next to the hamster cage, and every time he'd walk out, I just put my hand against the grate. I just put it there, and after a while, I just opened the little door or gate, whatever you call it. I put feed in my hand, and I just put my hand inside the cage, and little hamster walked up and started eating seeds out of my hand.
Yeah,
and they were like, how?
For 6 months, when I got my chinchillas, for 6 months, I just sat next. I'd play video games, I'd have their cage was literally directly next to me when I played video games, and chinchillas like TV. They'll watch TV if you put it on for them. They're super smart. So they'd sit there and watch me play video games, and I would sit there and I'd talk to them in a soft voice. I would, lean up against the cage so they could get like a scent and all that. I put my t-shirts I wore at night. I slept in these shirts, and then in the morning I'd take that shirt and put it in the cage to get my scent with them. The one walker, super skittish still. He'll always be skittish because his brother is now the alpha in the pair. But Walker is still very skittish. He's me and my mother are the only two people he'll come up to. Other than that, he's hiding. But the Texas Ranger is his brother, and oh my gosh, he's a little crackhead. No matter who you are, he'll come up. He'll try to fight my dog. He's the only with all the animals I've worked with, he's the only animal I've ever seen with the size that he has, and the huevos that he has. Man, I'll tell you what. I'll have the cage, the doors closed, and he'll come up to the little cage and he'll like paw at it and he'll literally tap on it, trying to piss off the dog. The dog will come up and start barking at him and start like trying to nip, and they're just playing. And then but sometimes he'll piss Oakley off. And this one time I had the cage door open, I didn't realize I wasn't paying attention that the door's open, and Texas was getting ballsy, and he was getting up in Oakley's face. And they do this thing called fur slips, where if you grab their fur, they have this ability to let the fur fall out. So if you pinch fur and pull, they will just let it go. It just comes out as literally like plucking it's easy, like literally just picking a piece of paper up. It's that easy. So he tried to bite Texas, but Texas fur slipped and ran away and jumped up, and then he went up to the next level and jumped down and tackled Oakley. My dog Oakley. He tried tackling Oakley and started doing flips off Oakley, and Oakley was like, what? And I was like, what is going on? I slammed my door shut. Because I was scared he was going to get out. And I was like, what? And he started running around doing flips off the wall and was like trying to bounce off Oakley, and I was like, he's a little crackhead. I was like, he just doesn't care.
My chinchilla just ninja attacked my dog. What's going on, man?
I was fried too. I didn't know what was going on. Dude,
bro, tell me you sat there and you're like, this has to be fake. I have to be tripping right now. There's no way.
That night, I'm kidding you not. I thought that I got laced or something, and that night Texas does this thing where he'll stand on his little bed and stare out of the side of the cage at you, and he'll just stare at you. He just wants either A, a treat, or B, to get out and run around because he's a crackhead. Mm-hmm. And if he's not out, he'll just sit there and stare at you sometimes. And that night, he was staring at me because I guess he was like, I don't know, he just had that little attitude to him that night. And I was so high, I was sitting there, I was like, this guy. And there was a girl staying with me that night as well. And I think it was around her first time of smoking pot. That was her first time smoking pot ever.
She watched the chinchilla total just Matrix and just start beating your dog, just doing kick flips off his back.
She looked at them so hot. She was so fried. She looked at him and she goes, "They're plotting to murder me." And I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Look at him. He's staring.
She just kept saying it, and I was like. And then eventually I started tweaking because I was just so confused. I was so high, and she just kept saying it, and I was like, did I get laced? I'm like, are we laced? Do I just not know? And I was like, what's going on?
I don't think it helped with their little hands just sat there with that plotting little pose they have. They do have that pose.
People don't know that. They use their hands for everything. They'll pick food up and eat it like a donut. Mm-hmm. They'll sit there and Texas will literally sit there and he'll there's like a little chicken wire. Mm-hmm. It's smaller than chicken wire. He'll put his little paw up on it and hold on to it like he's in prison or something.
Yeah.
One little paw will just hang there and stare at you, and he'll be like, just staring at you. And he's like, hey man, he's like, you gonna let me out, bro? He's like, come on, bro. I've been in here so long, dog.
Bro, Eddie always had that pose of like just sitting there waiting for more, like a patient little boy. Like always had his hands right here.
Yeah,
little boy.
Texas looks like he's scheming all the time.
Oh God,
little schemer.
But it's just. And animals are something I feel passionate about, but not to the point that you do. Like, you're very into like full on being activist, and I support that. That's just not my life. Now there's this place in North Carolina that it's a thing everyone does in North Carolina. It's called Lazy 5 Ranch. Mm-hmm. What it is a massive ranch owned by a family who. They'll do hay rides, but you can just go through your car and you'll drive through their entire property. You'll meet emus, llamas, giraffes, rhinos, deer, buffalo, cows, like anything.
Horny dog.
And went through.
That came out wrong.
They actually do. They have prairie dogs.
I just said a horny dog.
Oh, okay.
I know a horny dog. That came out.
All of the. Oh, go ahead.
It. I'm stupid.
Just
continue.
Your high rambling.
Yeah, it
Oh,
happens.
dude, all of the cowboys on the ranch, they all ride on Clydesdales, so they're just massive horses, just speeding past you in your car.
We have a thing. There's a haunted house a little bit away from where I live,
Mhm.
and what they do is a part of it is they drive these trucks like up to the car, like you're on like a hay ride, and they're like they're so good at it. They like tap the truck with like to the back of the thing and or try to scare you. And this guy just rides a horse along you. The headless horseman will just ride along you. And it's the
Dude,
craziest thing ever. I'm like, dude, this guy can ride a horse. Like he's actually good at this. I wasn't even scared. I was more impressed with the fact that he could keep the horse that control with all the fire and
yeah.
the truck horn, semi horns, and all
Oh,
that
you
going
know
on,
they
and the
had to
people screaming.
train that horse to just be used to that.
Oh my gosh, they would have to.
Oh,
Well, if it
dude.
lived there, I mean, I'm assuming it probably, eventually got used to it because
Yeah,
it heard it so often out of proxy. But
but dude, at the Lazy Five Ranch, we went through and I don't know why, but I genuinely just had a you know when you believe something so hard, it just kind of happens even if you're just talking out of your ass.
Mhm,
I believed in my heart of hearts I could just
mhm,
I could conversate with these animals.
mhm,
And there was at towards the end there's like buffalo, big actual buffalo. And they were
mhm,
like where the cars were going, they were just out of reach, like 2 feet out of like your arms, so it's just too
yeah,
far. And I my honest thought in my head was, so my buddy Big Scrimp,
mhm, mhm,
he's built like me but taller and like a lot more built, you know what I mean? So
mhm.
my thought was, how would I talk to Tyler if he was an animal? And I started, I swear to God this fucking happened. I just went, come here, big
Who's the one smoking?
baby. Come here, big baby. And the buffalo looked at me like I was weird.
Probably.
And I just went like this, come here, big baby. And the fucker
I'm
walked
not
to,
hating, man.
and he walked to my car. And I started
Whenever
petting the buffalo.
I'm not surprised, man.
Dude,
Whenever I walk in with my tigers, I go, "Hello, my loves." I'm like, "Hello, my babies." That's exactly how I say it. I'm like, "Hello, my loves," and I don't know why. I'm just like, "My babies." How are
it's
you,
just something that like
my
you
babies?
think it'll work, and it does.
Yeah.
And I did that. It happened, and my ex, the most recent one, she said, "There's no fucking way you just did that. That was a fluke." I did it 2 more times in a row, and then
Different animals.
I just did that with buffaloes, and I was like, maybe that's my people. Then we're surrounded by buffaloes and big like water buffaloes, like the ones with the swoopy curved horns.
Mm.
Way out in the way, there is a vanilla. I'm talking pure white fluffy cow, just a little cow, sweet little white fluffy cow. And I was
I would have
like,
stole it.
there's only one way I can do this. I have to shoot my shot. So you know how I was like, come here,
So I
baby.
stole it. I put it in the back of the car, and I drove home, and now I got a pet cow.
I wish. But no, with the buffalo big boy, I had to go, come here, baby. With the sweet little cow, I went, come here, baby. Come here, baby. That fucker walked across the field to my car, and I started petting the cow.
Oh my
Dude,
god,
I
that's
was,
funny.
we left, and the worker who watched the whole thing came up and said, "What's up, Dr. Doolittle? The fuck are you doing here, bud?" And
Like, you want a job, man?
I was just like, dude, I just felt that's how you talk to him. And they were like, I didn't even know how to talk to him. Thank you for teaching me, I guess.
That's funny.
But like no other animal I can do that to. It's just bison and cows. Those are my people, I guess.
You you have a way with them.
I have
Maybe.
a way.
Cow whisperer.
A little more of a darker note. Just
Uh-oh.
I feel like this is something that needs to be addressed, especially since you said that if you feel strongly towards it. As much as animals are protected and need to be more conserved in these conservation acts and the wildlife centers, there still is a massive problem, even today in 2020, of animal poaching and trophy hunting. I looked into it slightly before the podcast. It's even like it's hard for me to say it's a small number, but it really isn't. It's a large number. In America, from 2017 to 2018, there was 150 lions that were taken as trophies, not the ones that weren't logged. And then in the EU, there were 406.
Yeah, well, there's so many that aren't even. Those are the ones that were legal.
Yeah, those are the
Keep
ones
in
that they're
mind.
legal and they've been tracked. The rest of them, that's not counted.
I've done a lot of research on trophy hunting and poaching since I'm so since wildlife conservation is my main concern in life.
Yeah.
And trophy hunting is a big misconception.
Mm-hmm.
The real trophy hunting, and it's hard to explain to people that don't understand what the point is that with trophy hunting, it's the people that are willing to pay for it. It's a weird concept to me to want to kill an animal for the hunt and for the trophy, as they put it. I could never comprehend that. But the people that pay for it, it's very regulated.
Mm-hmm.
They pay large amounts of money,
and there's a lot of laws they have to go through and forms.
Yes.
And like it's a lot of there. It weirdly helps the conservationists, but it's also a weird like double-edged like.
That's what it is. Well, because the issue is no one is willing to pay the money it costs to do the conservation for these animals.
Mm-hmm.
And touching back on, like I said earlier, with like the problem of starvation and that in these third world countries is that they don't care if there's only 100 rhinos or 100 lions or 100 elephants left in the world. They care about feeding their family and their village, especially with their culture. It's this thing that whoever gets the hunt and the big kill is the hero in their village, and they bring this meat back. They feed the village for the next year. One elephant will feed this village for an entire year.
Yeah.
They don't care. And with elephants and rhinos, especially with poaching, the issue is that they want the ivory, they want the horns, and they want to sell it because that stuff it's by pound sells more than gold. Rhino horn by pound is more expensive than gold.
Oh, there's even in Japan they do the shark fins where they'll catch sharks, cut the fins off, and then throw the rest of the shark that has just been mutilated straight into the water again.
Yep, a live shark right back into the water. But that's the thing with trophy hunting is that it's very regulated. It's the animal they hunt is always sadly picked out. It's sad. It breaks my heart to talk about it. And I've even reached out to people that own these places that do trophy hunting to talk to about it. And but even what they were talking to me about is one broke down in tears. It breaks his heart that he has to do it, but he's not getting every dime spent from someone that's trophy hunting. I'm talking food, lodging, the ammo, the transport.
That's supporting that whole community.
Yeah, it goes right back to conservation. They're not allowed to spend any of that money other than protecting the animals. Yep. And the reasoning is actually smart. I can't remember who came up with it, but it's genius. So the poachers, the main thing they wanted was the horn. They would kill any rhino they could find for the horn or any elephant they could find, no matter how young, if it was pregnant, if it could still bear children, if it couldn't still bear children, if it was aggressive, and they would just take it for the horn. They didn't care. And they would do as many as they could so they can get as much money. But now they're getting paid to protect the animals. So if you have a backyard with there's a lot of land over there. So we'll say 100 acres. You don't own it because I don't know how that would work over there. But if these animals are under your protection, you can prove that you are the one protecting these animals and protecting them from poachers. You get a certain amount of money for each animal you have. So they pay you monthly for every animal you have in your protection. And all that money comes from trophy hunting and supporting that. And the sad truth is that no one else is funding trophy hunting. No one else is funding the conservation of animals. There's a couple guys, John Hume, Buffalo Dream Ranch is where he works. He has a rhino conservation. He's given every dime he has to this, and he spends millions every year. He's a multi-billionaire who spends his family's fortune protecting rhinos now. And but he's one of the only exceptions of that. But even he said that he's going to run out of money eventually. So thankfully they've legalized. Sadly, the sad truth is they had to legalize rhino horn trade so he could sell rhino horn. It doesn't hurt to cut the horn off. So what he does is he sedates them, cuts the horn off, sells the horn, and takes the money. And then he has armed guards. I mean, all the time roaming the area. He has helicopters that fly around roaming the area. I mean, he spends I think $15 million a year on protection alone for the rhinos. And the rhino horn's the only thing that pays for that. But so it does. The cutting a rhino horn is basically, as long as you don't do it too low, like the poachers will, because poachers want every inch of the horn they can get, so they'll cut it off under the skin and mutilate it. He just does it near like halfway, a little bit lower than that.
Doesn't it work kind of like nails, where it just kind of grows back?
Yeah, it's exactly the same. It's clipping. It's just the same it feels exactly the same as clipping your nail would. And then so that way, not only does the rhino live, it's not going to be poached for the horn anymore. The rhino, the poachers won't kill unless they can get the horn. That's all they want.
Yep.
Poaching is the real problem. People don't realize that. I mean, trophy hunting, if you ask me, is fucked up as well. But the sad truth is that my main concern is, yes, I love animals individually, but I also don't want to see a certain type of animal go extinct because my heart was too set on protecting one animal. And like, I'm sure there's been more rhinos trophy hunted by now, but last time I checked, I think in like 2017, maybe 2018, one of the last rhinos to be hunted trophy hunting, the guy paid for was like $100,000 or something just to go hunt the rhino alone. Doesn't include anything else. And then the rhino was also super aggressive. He wouldn't breed with anyone. He killed 8 other male rhinos. Because he got in fights with them and killed them. So and they went out and it was not only helping the majority but protecting the majority as well. It's not like they go. They don't just pick the youngest. They don't pick and when you do the misconception is people think when you do a trophy hunt, you pay and you go on a land and then you're like, okay, shoot the first one you see. It's planned. Most of the animals are too old to bear children, which is sad to say that means they're the ones that have to go. It's very sad that it's this way, but it's the sad truth. It's the world it's just the way it goes. But it's truly all to protect animals in the long run.
As much as it sucks to say and it feels wrong to say, it feels like the things like this are not poaching but trophy hunting in a way. It's almost like a necessary evil where it's wrong, but at the end of the day there's no other way it's going to happen.
It is. It truly is. And that's what.
Go ahead.
Go on.
My
go on.
My stepdad and his buddies, they do a lot of deer hunting, and that's their favorite thing. But deer hunt, I'm not sure if you look too much into it or if any of you have. It's highly regulated, and a lot of it, especially in the South, is population control. Because
100% population control.
A lot of people, especially up north, when I talk to like friends and family who live up there, they don't have deer, so they see them at like we would see lions and rhinos. They're like, those are rare, but like here, no, they're a pest.
And that's a big thing too. People don't understand. Like one of the big arguments because I've had this debate plenty of times with trophy hunting and that kind of stuff. The biggest point I bring up to people is when someone kills, they get all mad about whoever lives in these third world countries where the animals are at for, say, shooting a lion. They say, well, you can't just kill that lion. Well, what do you do what would you do if a wolf was coming in your backyard and attacking your children and eating your livestock and destroying your crops? And I mean, there's literally I read a story about a man who a lion literally came into their village, broke into the hut, and murdered his wife and 2 kids. And then these activists came and got mad at him when he killed the lion. And he was like, what am I supposed to do? Because this lion is terror. And now once a cat gets a taste for human blood, it's got a taste for human blood. And it knows it's got an easy meal. And the easy meal is the fact that you're sleeping in your hut and I can go through the door and eat you. It's very simple. And that lion doesn't care. It just wants its next meal. And guess what? Now it brings its pride. Now its pride's there, and now you have a whole pride hunting your village.
It's like, hey, buffet right here.
I can walk out my front door I guarantee you I can walk out my front door right now and see a deer easily because my neighbor feeds them. So I know I could walk out and see a deer right now if I wanted to. And that's how it is over there with animals like these lions and elephants and rhinos and stuff like that. It's there. Back on like a Turk living in Singapore, for example, I was amazed that Singapore had otters that just roam the street. They have otter crossings in Singapore because it's the most green city in the world, and I adore it. But they have otter crossings, and I was like, that's crazy. And he goes, you guys have way more animals than we do because we have otters, but we have otters in places in America as well. But he's like, you guys have deer, wolves, coyotes, raccoons, and he was like, we don't have any of that. I was like, that's crazy to think about. People don't put in comparison that other land masses are going to have different types of species, like depending on where you're at.
When I asked my stepdad about deer and how they're pests, because I was confused at first, and he said after seeing them in action, like the best way to think of them is they're large, horned woodland rats. They're just there. They don't do anything. They're pests.
The issues with civilization and more cities expand is we as humans tend to get rid of animals that we don't consider naturally. We're going to try and push out animals we consider apex predators, wolves, coyotes, pests or predators like that would eat and normally do the population control like normal with the circle of life. Where I reside, if there wasn't, if the city wasn't here and the suburbs weren't here, it would 100% be wolves, deer, and the circle of life. But we've pushed all of those out. and the deer are smart enough to know that they can come in the city where they won't be hunted.
So now there's no regulation. Who else is going to do it other than hunters? And all of the money that goes into the hunts and they make from it.
Same way in America.
Yeah, even like my stepdad and his buddies, all the money that they make and is funded through hunting, that goes into protecting wildlife and working those things. So it really is just a who else would do it?
It's hard for people to understand that the
hunters.
It's hard to say one life for another. That's the main argument that you have to make with trophy hunting and hunting in general. Regulated hunting, especially, is this thing of one life for another. And the way I try to explain it to people is it's like everyone wants to complain. People love to complain. I know tons of animal activists that hate trophy hunting, but then I look at them and I say, okay, but what are you doing? Like, what have you really done for the bigger picture? I'm like,
that's a big thing that gets brought up is a lot of the animal rights activists, they don't actually do anything to fix the problem. And like some of the biggest yes,
they want the man to fix the problem. And being in this field, trust me, I've learned that a lot. They want someone else to fix the problem. The government doesn't care. They don't care. The only reason any government would really care is because the people are pushing them. But that's kind of contradictory to what we just said about the people pushing the government. But they're not listening. Obviously, they might say they're going to pass some laws. It might take a while, whatever. But the laws don't matter when the animals that are super endangered aren't even in our country. And that's why I try to say, why do I have a say in another country's population? Africa, third world countries, places like that. They're surprisingly doing. There's private companies that are doing really well for this trophy hunting and wildlife conservation, even though sadly it is funded through trophy hunting. And that's what I say to tons of these people. I ask them, I say, how much money realistically have you donated? Or because money is the issue. Conservation it's just because there's not enough money. That's the issue. If money, especially in third world countries, if money was an issue, there'd be clean water and food there, where they wouldn't have to hunt till the animal's gone. And that's why I'm like, how much money have you realistically given? And some may say, a couple $100, but a majority say either $10 or less, mainly none. They feel as if tweeting and writing on Facebook and Instagram is enough. And I'm like, okay, just because you put out a picture about the maybe average 500 people that follow you and that maybe 100 of them see it, I'm like, that you're not really doing anything.
And it's ironic to see that the people who are against hunters and against hunting, they're doing far less for wildlife conservation than hunters themselves.
And they really are. Like I said, I couldn't bring myself to kill an animal. Obviously, unless it was completely necessary. If some animals, when they go crazy, they just go crazy, and it's better just to go ahead and. Some animals don't come back from a rage, and once they're mad, they're mad. And if it's hurting people and other animals, it's best to obviously take the action needed. But a lot of what was I saying? I'm high.
Yo, you just threw me off. I don't even know what you were saying.
Keep talking. I'll get back.
Dude, okay, I don't know if it might have been you, but I think it was this guy at work I was talking to. Hawaii has a very unique problem right now.
What is that? This is me. I haven't heard of this. Is it that big nuke they almost got?
No. Animal-wise.
Oh.
They had...
Bunnies? Is it the Bunny Island? Is that where the Bunny Island is? I don't know where that's at. There's an island where it's just overrun with bunnies. The entire island, it was like a nuclear war zone or something, like a nuke went off there, or a reactor or something. Oh, that's not Hawaii, then that wouldn't make any sense.
It was somewhere else. But Hawaii has, there's a spot in Hawaii that it was overrun with cats. And it was too many. And so...
House cats?
Yes, house cats. And just like outside feral, just being a pest. So one of the people said, well, mongoose, they attack cats. They will. And to fix the problem, they brought mongoose over, right? No one did the research to find that cats are not nocturnal, but mongoose are. So they now have a cat problem during the day and a mongoose problem at night, and no way to fix it.
That's so funny, because a lot of people will assume that wild cats do. So cats in the wild do hunt at night. They see they're exception. They can see so fucking well at night. It's crazy. that's actually one of the rules of the place I used to work, is that you're not allowed to be out near them at night, simply for the fact that
You
even
can't
if
see as well as they can, and they can just.
yeah, and even if there's a cage between you, just the fact of safety alone, because at night it's so dangerous how well they can see.
Yeah.
That if you're too close to the cage because it's so dark, you won't be able to see. They might, you never know what can happen. But
Well, it might have been reversed then. I just remember.
no. If it's feral cats, like house cats, it's completely different.
Yeah.
Because those cats are now any animal that's kept as a pet basically will almost change its routine to your routine, just out of force, because it's locked where you are, where the people exist. So small cats like that will definitely hunt during the day for like mice and stuff. They might go out at night a little bit, but like cats sometimes explore at night, but a lot of times especially if there's a mongoose around, they're just not going to come around. They'll just avoid the mongoose.
But dude, it was as soon as I heard that, I was like, wait a second,
It's so
because
funny.
I had heard something about mongoose and they're nocturnal, and I was just like, there's no way. And it was like,
The biggest mistake people can make is introducing new species into places where they didn't exist already.
Oh, like the lionfish. That sucker is dangerous.
Have you seen is that the one that they introduced into a city?
They introduced it to fix a problem, but they didn't realize that is an invasive species, and they just completely took over, and now that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's
a lot of invasive species will do that, and people don't realize, or it's like a mistake. Like some people will have like pets, even like exotic pets that'll somehow get loose, or they'll just let go because they don't want to take care of it, and then it becomes an issue of
Florida. There's a massive problem. Like, okay, on top of the Carol Baskin thing, there's a lot of zoo problems and people having exotic pets down here, like massive problems. So what they do, they attacked a lot of the guys who had exotic snakes. And not just like normal snakes, like I'm talking anacondas, like massive pythons. You know what I mean?
Surprised they didn't come from me.
So what they did was there was nowhere to dispose of. There was nowhere, no one could take them. So they let them loose into the swamps. And my buddy Pinfreak at school,
I should be laughing. Dude, it's just funny.
His school got canceled midday, and they were curious. Just across the street, they had found a 26-foot-long python just sitting there. And they held it up, and it was massive. And they were just like, it was just owned by this dude who no zoo would take it, so they just let it go.
That's where most of our animals come from, are animals that no one wants to take. We had a lion with Down syndrome. They were just going to put down, so we took her in and raised her as our own. She's passed now. They don't live very long with Down syndrome, but we gave her the best life she could have had. But that's funny, man.
Dude, it's nuts.
We got called out. Dude, completely off topic. Do you remember the clown situation?
Yes, 2016.
Yeah, they came to they came to my school. We got canceled. They were looking in our windows, like they were walking around with like looking in our our officer had to go out there, and they all like scattered, but they kept coming back out throughout the day, so they just canceled school. The entire police department showed up because they threatened our school on like Twitter or something, and then they showed up and were just just walking. Like we saw the first one we saw, someone was in the lunchroom, and from our lunchroom you could see the bleachers, I think. And if I'm not mistaken, there was one just chilling in the bleachers. And there was this whole like hush hush thing. No one talked about it, and like for some reason, a few people knew about it because we just got canceled. No one knew why.
Yeah.
Literally, our school they got canceled. No one knew why. We went home, and then like a few people finally found out that it was this clown thing, that the clowns were there. And I was like, no way, they actually showed up. And apparently, I was like, that was so, it was so funny,
dude.
Those guys were. I'll tell you what, they were all over.
Dude, that was nuts. And like some of the people, like obviously there was a lot of people who like, oh, let's just scare people, haha. But there were some people who like took it too far. And like chasing.
The videos of people that took it too far, and then the guy fought back, and the clown would get real scared. I saw tons of videos where the clown would like be like holding a knife or something. And the guy would just pull his gun out, and the clown would start crying and bawling his eyes out.
There was a video of this dude. He was driving down the street, and it was like the start to the creepiest video you'd ever seen. He's driving, and just as the lights hit those freaking clown shoes, clown with a knife standing in the middle of the road. The guy swerves his car, gets out, dodges the knife, and knocks him out one hit, and says, "Don't you ever!" and starts cussing him out. Oh,
those videos That's I've seen a couple of those where the guys have been driving and they'll see the clown like go out trying to fight it and they'll just get the clown. I've seen a ton where like I've never seen one where the clown like actually acted on it. I've only seen the ones where they start crying when the guy beats them up.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple of friends start jumping. I saw one where it was like the clown was in someone's backyard like looking through a window, and then like the husband I guess went out like through the front door, snuck around with a video camera, and like got him on video and then beat the crap out of him.
Yeah.
And the cops were like, "Well, I mean, he was standing at your house with a knife,
trespassing, threatening."
Yeah, and he got away with it, and he was like, that was his proof that the guy was outside his house, and then he put the camera down and whooped his ass.
Dude, Florida has some weird, Florida has some different people. The week we came down, a news headline came out, and I looked into it. All it said was Florida man arrested and criminally charged with assault with deadly weapon. He covered his hands in Jif peanut butter and fought his neighbor who had a peanut allergy. Because it was a severe allergy, it was considered assault with a deadly weapon. And his mugshot is him posted like this.
You ever heard about the guy that covered his entire house in mayonnaise?
No.
There's a guy who his wife called and begged, like was pleading for the cops to come because he apparently was attacking her with mayonnaise, and the guy was like, the officer was like, okay. So the officer said, I expected when I showed up to just see like a jar of mayonnaise, but this guy apparently had like big like what do you want to call it, barrels of mayonnaise that he got off like Amazon or something. And he said everything was covered. The guy was covered from head to toe. He said every inch of the house was covered in mayonnaise, and this guy was just going crazy. And he was like, they got the guy, I guess, calmed down and arrested him, obviously, but they were like, well, like he didn't really do anything that like illegal, technically. I mean, that's what that's when they arrested him. They were like, I mean, we can get him for like threatening. And he's like, but other than that, I mean, he just covered his house in mayonnaise, and that's not against the law.
Bro,
so I think the guy ended up getting away with most of it, but. It was one of the funniest police reports I've ever read. Was this officer talking about walking into this house and just seeing everything covered in mayonnaise,
dude,
every inch of it.
And on that, I think we're gonna end the podcast here. Thank you so much, Sawyer, for coming on this for episode 2.
Of course, thank you for having me, KJ. I appreciate it.
It's been a ton of fun. I really enjoyed this one.
No, me too for sure. I'll be happy to listen to it again when I'm sober.
Oh yeah, when you're sober, and just be like, oh wait, that's what I was gonna say.
And then I'll start smoking while I'm listening to it.
I'm gonna get a text from you, like that point where you just forgot what you were gonna say. You're gonna be like, "Yo, I remember what I was gonna say," and then. But
yeah, I do that all the
time. Thank you all for watching, whether it's on YouTube, Spotify, or Patreon for some of those. I just wanted to say next week. I will be announcing the guest for next week on Twitter Monday morning. So look out for that. And thank you all for stopping by and listening. Take care.